Picture two people retiring the same year, same age, same health, same town. One chooses Original Medicare, the other chooses Medicare Advantage. For most of a decade, the second one looks like the winner. Lower monthly costs, dental included, a gym membership thrown in, then comes a diagnosis and a decision to switch to what the first one has, and the answer comes back no. Not because of a missed deadline, not because of anything done wrong, because of a rule nobody explains at the moment it actually matters. It isn't price, it isn't benefits, it's whether you can change your mind. Here's what almost every comparison gets wrong. They line the two up like competing products. Premiums here, benefits there, pick a column. But these aren't two versions of the same thing. They're different structures, and the differences that matter don't show up in year 1. They show up in year 9. Quick word before we go further. This channel is educational only, not financial, tax, or legal advice, and I'm not a registered investment advisor. The rules here come from the current Medicare and You Handbook and from federal law linked below. Your state may give you more rights than the federal rules do. So let's take them apart properly. Original Medicare is the government plan. Part A covers hospital care. Part B covers doctors and outpatient services. You pay a premium for Part B, then a share of every bill. Medicare Advantage is something else. It's a private plan approved by Medicare that you join instead. Medicare pays that company a set amount every month to handle your care. And that one sentence explains almost everything that follows. Start with the biggest misconception. People assume Advantage plans cover less. They don't. By law, an Advantage plan must cover every medically necessary service Original Medicare covers. There are carve-outs. Hospice care stays with Original Medicare even in an Advantage plan, and so do some clinical research costs, but the core coverage is the same. And most Advantage plans go further. Drug coverage built in. Many add dental, vision, hearing. And some carry no premium beyond the Part B premium you're already paying. So one option often covers more and can cost less month to month. Which should make you curious. Where's that money coming from? It's coming from Medicare. The government pays that plan a set amount every month for you, whether you see a doctor 40 times that year or not once. The handbook states that arrangement and stops there. So this next part is me reasoning, not the handbook talking. When anyone is paid a fixed amount to cover you, spending less on your care is worth more to them than spending more. That isn't an accusation. It's arithmetic. And whatever the reason, there are two things you will notice about how the two paths work in practice. The first is where you can go. Original Medicare has no network. Almost any doctor or hospital that takes Medicare will see you, and most of them accept what Medicare pays as payment in full. In most cases, no referrals. Travel inside the country, move states, get a second opinion 3 cities away. Nothing changes. There is a catch, though. A doctor who doesn't accept what Medicare approves can charge you up to 15% above it, and a few opt out of Medicare altogether, in which case it pays nothing. Advantage plans have networks. Some strict, some looser, but there is a list. Go outside it and you pay more or aren't covered at all. Some plans want a referral before a specialist. The second thing you'll notice is permission. Original Medicare rarely asks for approval before you get care. Advantage plans may require prior authorization for certain services. The plan signs off before some treatments, scans, or hospital stays. Often that's a formality. Sometimes it isn't. Either way, it's a step in the road that original Medicare mostly doesn't have. Now, the part that flips the whole thing around. Original Medicare has no limit on what you can spend in a year. None, unless you have supplemental coverage sitting on top of it. On its own, you pay your share of every service with no ceiling where it stops. Advantage plans are required to have one. A yearly cap on all Part A and Part B services, and once you reach it, the plan covers the rest. Plans can set a higher limit for care outside the network, but the ceiling is there. So the government plan is the one with unlimited exposure. The private plan is the one with a safety net, which sounds like the argument is over. It isn't. Because original Medicare has an answer of its own. It's called Medigap, a supplement from a private insurer that helps pay the share original Medicare leaves behind. How much depends on which plan you buy, but add one, and unlimited exposure becomes predictable. So the real comparison finally comes into focus. Path 1. Original Medicare plus Medigap plus a separate drug plan. No networks, almost no referrals, very little asking permission, and 3 premiums every month for life. Path 2. Medicare Advantage. Lower premiums, more extras, a built-in cap, inside a network, with a plan that signs off on things. And here's the case for Advantage that rarely gets made honestly. Medigap premiums are an extra bill every month, and they never stop. If that's out of reach and on a fixed income it often is, then original Medicare alone leaves you exposed with no ceiling at all. For that person, the Advantage cap isn't the lesser option. It may be the only out-of-pocket protection within reach. Both paths are legitimate. Millions of people are genuinely better off on each. But here's what that comparison still doesn't tell you. Start with what moves underneath you. Advantage plans can be rewritten every year. Benefits, networks, and drug lists can all shift, and a plan can leave your county. But the sharper version happens mid-year. Providers can join or leave a plan's network at any time. Your surgeon can be in the network in February and out of it in March. And when that happens, you generally can't switch plans until the next enrollment period. You can choose a new provider. You can't choose a new plan. In fairness, there is a protection. If the plan's network can't meet your medical needs, it must help you get that care outside the network at in-network cost. But you're still in that plan until the next window. Original Medicare has no network to leave. Let me put that side by side for a second, because there's one more difference coming, and it's the one that decides everything. Networks. Original Medicare has none. Advantage has a list, and going outside it costs you more or costs you the coverage entirely. Permission. Original Medicare mostly doesn't ask. Advantage plans may want to sign off first on certain services. The yearly cap. Original Medicare has none on its own. Medigap supplies one. Advantage must have a cap on all Part A and Part B services, though the out-of-network limit can be higher. Drugs and extras. With Original Medicare, a separate drug plan. Advantage usually bundles it in, and many plans add dental, vision, and hearing. What moves? Original Medicare's amounts drift, but the structure holds. Advantage can be rewritten every year, and the network can change under you mid-year. So here's that last difference. You can leave an Advantage plan. Every year during open enrollment, you can go back to Original Medicare. That door stays open. The problem is what's waiting on the other side. Original Medicare without a supplement means unlimited exposure. So you'll want Medigap. And Medigap is where the asymmetry lives. There is a 6-month window starting the month you're 65 and enrolled in Part B. The handbook calls it the best time to buy a Medigap policy. Read that phrasing again because it's doing something careful. After that window closes, you may not be able to buy a Medigap policy at all, or it may cost more. So the door back to original Medicare stays open. The door back to affordable original Medicare may not. There are exceptions worth knowing. Join an Advantage plan when you're first eligible at 65, and you generally get about 12 months to change your mind and still buy certain Medigap policies in your state. Drop a Medigap policy to try Advantage for the first time, and a similar trial right usually applies. And some states protect people far more broadly. But outside those, the choice you make at 65 is the only one you'll ever make with every option still open. That's the real difference. Not premiums, not dental, not the gym membership. One path is built to be flexible and it costs more to hold. The other is built to be affordable and it costs more to leave. And notice which way the pressure runs. At 65, most people are healthy. The extras look great. The cap sounds like plenty. The plan that's cheapest while you're well is the hardest one to leave once you're not. So the question was never which one is better. It's which one you'd still want in the year you actually need it. Because you aren't choosing for the person you are now, you're choosing for the person you'll be at 80. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot. If this video gave you something to think about, do one small thing. Subscribe to Retirement Decisions Desk. Every video here unpacks one retirement decision, and subscribing is how you'll never miss the next one. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.